Good evening, my fellow Americans. I come to you tonight with a heavy heart. I heard Obama's press conference on Monday evening, and I was appalled by the betrayal of the American people, particularly by the betrayal of our troops serving in Afghanistan and Iraq. When Obama was questioned about what he'd do about Afghanistan, instead of standing strong and standing tall like an American president should, he resorted to the typical Jimmy Carter, George McGovern, pablum-puking liberal policy of talking about diplomacy instead of military action. And our enemies do not understand diplomacy. They do understand a B-1 bomber. They do understand a Tomahawk cruise missile landing in their cave, but they do not understand diplomacy. And Mr. Obama, Mr. President, all he did was whine about how we have to use diplomacy and how we didn't use diplomacy enough in the past, and it just gave aid and comfort to our enemies. And I will add that now to the list of impeachable offenses. Giving aid and comfort to the enemies of the United States is an impeachable offense for a president of these United States. Mr. Obama commits another impeachable offense almost every day now, and the list is adding up. During this here press conference, he informed us that 4 American service people had died in Iraq, and our hearts and our prayers go out to the families of these brave American young and women who are putting themselves in harm's way while he living in luxury in the White House and flying around bragging about how he on Air Force One, which he did the other day, bragged about how he was able to get a hold of Air Force One while they riding around in 140-degree heat in armored personnel carriers and Humvees and tanks in Iraq. After downplaying military action, Obama then went on to say that he was sending the great diplomat Richard Holbrooke to the region. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was Saddam Hussein, I wouldn't really get too scared of Richard Holbrooke. I mean, can you just imagine the scene? Someone comes into Saddam's cave or tent and says, Richard Holbrooke's coming. Obama's sending Richard Holbrooke, and Saddam says, uh-oh, the jig's up. I'm going to surrender. I'm so scared, Richard Holbrooke's coming. What we going to do next? We may as well just go and turn ourselves into Obama. Richard Holbrooke's coming. Let me tell you something, my fellow Americans. If I was president of these here United States, or if Sarah Palin were president, I can guarantee you we wouldn't be sending Richard Holbrooke over there to solve this problem. We'd be sending Tomahawk cruise missiles. We'd be sending the 182nd Airborne. We'd be sending B-1 and B-2 bombers. And after we finished doing what we need to do over there, might send over old Richard Holbrooke to sort through the rubble and try to find Osama's body. My fellow Americans, Obama is weak. He weak on terror. He weak on communism. He weak on Putin. He weak on Iraq and Afghanistan. He just weak. And his weakness is going to embolden the enemies of the United States of America to kill more American servicemen. And it's a damn shame. And that's why I call immediately upon the Congress of these United States of America to impeach Barack Obama. We need Governor Sarah Palin as our president as soon as humanly possible. If she can't officially take office until 2012, she needs to be called in by Obama's successor, the mentally incompetent Joseph Biden, to be a special advisor to literally run this government until she can formally be elected our president. She would be up in her helicopter. I guarantee you she'd fly over Iraq personally and Afghanistan in that helicopter, and she'd be shooting at terrorists just like she up in Alaska right now shooting at wolves and moose. And I'm a little sick of the tree-hugging, pablum-puking, lizard-licking liberals who ride in criticizing Governor Sarah Palin. I had one of them say, because she up in her helicopter and it's shaking around, she can't get a good shot at those wolves and she hurt them and the poor little things, they whimpering. You know what? They wolves. Alaska got a law saying it's okay to shoot them, and we ought to shoot them. And if she want to shoot them from a helicopter, then that's just so much the better, because then she can go around and she can get more of them than she could on foot. And don't get me wrong, I believe in animals' rights. I believe an animal has the right to taste good, and that's just about the only right they have. So I'll close tonight the way Frank always used to close, with a prayer for America's troops. Lord Jesus, protect our soldiers, especially those in harm's way in Iraq and Afghanistan. May you bring them all home safe and sound. But Lord, may you bring them all home. God bless you all. God bless you conservatives for watching, listening. And to you liberals, I suggest that you convert to conservatism, because in your heart, you know I'm right. And in your heart, you know Governor Palin is right, and you know she's the right choice for America. Thank you, my fellow Americans. Good night, and y'all come back now, you hear?
It's very important when you consider even national security issues with Russia, as Putin rears his head and comes into the airspace of the United States of America. Where do they go? It's Alaska. It's just right over the border. It is from Alaska that we send those out to make sure that an eye is being kept on this very powerful nation, Russia, because they are right there. They are right next to our state.